The placenta actually belongs to the father. Sounds wild, right? But this is one.
47.
The placenta actually belongs to the father. Sounds wild, right? But this is one of those science facts that surprises almost everyone. From the moment the egg and sperm meet, all the genetic material that forms the placenta comes from the father's sperm. In other words, the placenta carries dad's DNA signature, not mom's. That's why mom's body sees the placenta as foreign, yet still protects and nourishes it in a very special way, because the placenta acts like a translator between mom and dad through the baby. The placenta controls everything: oxygen, nutrients, filtering toxins, and guarding the baby 24/7. And the coolest part, this entire life support system is activated by the DNA the baby inherits from dad. So yes, a father doesn't just contribute one sperm, he builds the entire nutrition factory for his baby. The placenta actually belongs to the father. Sounds wild, right? But this is one of those science facts that surprises almost everyone. From the moment the egg and sperm meet, all the genetic material that forms the placenta comes from the father's sperm. In other words, the placenta carries dad's DNA signature, not mom's. That's why mom's body sees the placenta as foreign, yet still protects and nourishes it in a very special way, because the placenta acts like a translator between mom and dad through the baby. The placenta controls everything: oxygen, nutrients, filtering toxins, and guarding the baby 24/7. And the coolest part, this entire life support system is activated by the DNA the baby inherits from dad. So yes, a father doesn't just contribute one sperm, he builds the entire nutrition factory for his baby. The placenta actually belongs to the father. Sounds wild.
That's why he comes so hard at, all right, the Israelite man.
government and the benefits that the woman gets for the Israelite man not being in the household or being around, being in the picture. You have to question, well, why is that? All right, because like I said, they know where the strength, where the backbone of the nation lies, right? And that lies again in the Israelite man. See, that's why it's gonna come a time where and the Lord is already doing it. He's refining us, He's purifying us, right? As fine gold, tried in the furnace. Right? The scriptures say that basically a man should be as a hiding place. Right? Pursuant to Isaiah 32nd chapter. Alright? Basically gonna be the Israelite man, alright, that has this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, alright, concerning prophecy. Alright? He's gonna be basically set up as a refuge, place of refuge, place of protection. So these Israelite women, you better get on board, get with the program, and understand the order of things. Because when Jacob's trouble hit, they say even a man is going to be basically afraid. Put his hand on his horns like his water just broke. You know what I'm saying? Full-blown panic mode. Alright, so how much more a woman? See, we're reading on here, it says, now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things and keep the ordinances, right? So this is dealing with order. We're dealing with the law, statutes, the commandments, right? How things are supposed to be, right? When we're in our right mind. Right, it says, as I delivered them to you. It says, but I would have you know that the head of every man is a Mashiach, and the head of the woman is the man. Alright, why does this have to be said, right? Because you have to extrapolate, right? For Paul to say this shows or represents that women were basically more on a level or had a status, all right, somewhere so that they felt they didn't need a man, all right. Probably they got their own job, or means of just taking care of themselves, right? They can buy their own housing, clothing, they can feed themselves. Alright? And for so much that, because you have that saying, I can do all bad by myself. Alright? So, there's some women that basically look at as having a man as some type of burden in some way, because they know that the man, alright, is set up to keep order, right? There's going to be certain things that's going to be demanded of that man that the woman ain't going to want to deal with, all right? So that's why you have a lot of, all right, aunties, all right, big mama and them, all right, they grow up old, all by themselves, turn into the cat lady, right? So where the only companionship they can have is in the form of some pet, to look after. Right? Yeah, but you have no one to look after you, no one to protect you, no one to guide you. And that leads to a miserable life. So, read this again, it says, but I would have you know, alright, that the head of every man is Mashiach, Yahweh set up? No. No. We understand that Yahweh is his maker. You see? So that's how it's supposed to be in the earth. You know, you're supposed to understand that man is over you. You know, he's your counterpart, but yet he's over you. You know, women in this society, they want to be equal, right? But that's not real life, right? Everything that women benefit from in this society, all right, is controlled or created by a man. And all a man could do, all right, is certain particular jobs. All right, period, point blank. So let's do this. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, which is part of the Holy Scriptures. You will see that if you get yourself a 1611 King James Version Bible. See? But anyway, Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 3 and 16, it says, "He that forsaketh his father as a blasphemer, and he that angereth his mother is cursed of Yahweh." That's right. Forsaken means basically to forget about, to do away with, you know, basically. And this is how the Israelite woman is set up to use the child against the Israelite man. Right? Tell the child, you know, all type of nonsense, right? Putting things in the child's ear, mind, right? To give the child basically a false, you know, outlook on who their father really is in a lot of cases, you know. But it's always automatically assumed in this society that men don't take, you know, Israelite men don't take care of their children, right? You know, that they're not providers, this and that. You know, that they're not in their children's lives, and that's not the case, right? A lot of that is just, you know, a lot of it is just rhetoric that Esau, Edom, so-called white man spews out. Seeing how he controls the media, he can put certain images in your face, right? So often to the point you believe that it's true, and that it actually is, but right, it's all about who controls the narrative. See, and Esau, Edom, pursuant to Job 9:24, all right, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. So he has total control over everything that happens, right, in this world, right? Especially chiefly here in Babylon the Great, aka America, right? He controls everything. He controls what you hear, what you see, all right? He controls everything you digest, all right, on a spiritual level, on a physical level. You know, he controls that. So yeah, just, you know, back to the video. This is why it's so important, all right, to honor the father, the mother too, but the father comes first because he's the one that is the giver of life. That sperm is actually alive, right, before it even gets to the egg, right? How do you think it's swimming? Because it's a spirit, right, inside of that sperm. See, so I just want to leave it at that, you know, Lord willing. This was edifying. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that we will. Peace and say taste to the Akim that's pushing his word, and truth and sincerity throughout the four corners